Peace, peace. Welcome back to another episode of the Urban X TV Pop Shop, Popcast, right? That's what we call it, right? Popcast,
Yeah, the podcast.
right? We're your host. I'm Malcolm. This is the artist formerly known as the Black Dot. What is up?
Peace, peace. We might have to start doing these live, Malcolm. You know what I mean?
Think so?
Getting the comments going right away. Just 15, 20 minutes, light work.
Okay,
Get the people involved. So we'll talk to upper management.
okay,
What I mean, about those things to further improve our product. You know
yeah.
how we do. You know.
So we got a couple quick stories that we kind of wanted to touch on. It seems like the world collectively has hit the expiration button on YouTuber MrBeast. He is the largest YouTuber in the world. I think he has like 300 million subscribers. Goddamn, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
However, he is in the middle of some controversy right now because a former employee of his or a team member, I think he has like his whole like crew who is a trans person, Chris Tyson, apparently was caught texting and meeting up with underage kids.
Oh.
So yes, exactly. So this and then there was another former employee who worked for Mr. Beast on his like in his studio and stuff like that, who uh claims that Mr. Beast knew about this for a while and kept him on because like the rumor is that the guy Chris Tyson or the trans person Chris Tyson knew something about Mr. Beast, so he knew a lot, and Mr. Beast was afraid of what could get out, so he just was blackmailing him essentially. So what this did, it sparked a whole level of, the internet never dies. Nothing on the internet dies. So people have just been pulling up old things Mr. Beast has said in the past. He has like I don't know how many videos on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
things he said on podcasts and stuff like that about the Cash Me Outside girl in 2017. I think she was 14 at the time. He said something ill regarding her. So everybody has collectively said, all right, it's time now. Now, I think it's interesting because the video, when I got, put onto Mr. Beast, he was just doing these, incredible, giving away a bunch of money, building wells in Africa, planting a million trees and stuff like that, doing a lot of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And there were still people kind of hating on that. And we were just kind of sitting back. If you don't know him, you just kind of like, yo, that's dope. Like, I don't know how you could be mad at that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you sit back a little bit, a name like Mr. Beast, why that?
Yes.
Why that?
Yes.
And then with this news and stuff coming out, and a lot of stuff just like that coming out, it makes you perk up your eyebrow a little bit more. Like,
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that?
Yeah, the name Mr. Beast, as we mentioned on our show, was just a little foul. Um, and here's the thing: the good Samaritan, bad person scenario is always at play here.
Mm,
So you get a lot of people in the world who, on the surface, are heroes. They do a lot of, humanitarian work, and that's to cover up the bad karma.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And so I believe he's going to fall into that category. There are a couple of levels to this, and this is why a lot of these people, not all of these people who work for these humanitarian organizations, helping kids, adoption programs, Boy Scouts, all of this stuff. When you peel back the layers to that stuff, you realize that it's some sinister stuff going on.
yeah,
If I have a fetish for children, I need to be around children,
mm,
but I can't openly be around children. I need to be around children under the guise of helping children.
yeah,
Not only that, I need to be able to do psychoanalysis and on which children I can target and get away with because I need to eat. A vampire needs blood. I'm using that in the metaphorical term, and these
right,
people a lot of them are actually sick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you start having that much kind of celebrity through YouTube, it brings a lot of haters, but it also eventually you hire more people. When you hire more people, you your ship is not as tight. You know what I'm saying? That you
Yeah.
run, and you open yourself up for things that make you susceptible. Now, he hasn't been brought up against any charges right now.
Right. Right.
So we just have to focus on the person, Chris. And if he knew about Chris, then he is guilty
Mm-hmm.
because it is his responsibility to make sure that kids or anyone else is never harmed.
Yeah.
But but if Chris has some information on him, and now we're playing a game of, I got you by the balls, pause.
Right.
You
Right.
got me by the balls, pause.
Right.
We're in a situation in which this thing could get ugly. And then there's the third employee who used to work there, who is an eyewitness to some things that may come into play if this thing goes into a system, a court system or something.
Yeah. So just pay attention to that. Our audience probably have no idea any of these people we're talking about, but like I said, biggest YouTube in the world. So I just thought it
No,
was newsworthy.
and and it's also worth it because we're still talking about the protection of children.
Yes, absolutely.
We're still talking about the protection of children. We're starting to see how these people get away with these things. These missionary work in third world countries to help underprivileged children when you're simply there to feed an appetite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so this goes on because, like we mentioned, this SA thing and this trafficking thing is bigger than any of us would truly like to
Yeah.
imagine. And so, with a name like Mr. Beast, sometimes it's right out in front of you, and you mask it and you cover it with great deeds to get on the side, the emotional side of people who will then come out and defend you based on your deeds
Yes.
or your open
Yes.
deeds. This you can see
Yes.
this in politics.
With,
You see this
with
in
what's his name? Bill Gates.
yeah, you see it in philanthropy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see it in hip hop. You see it where you give out some turkeys. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You feed some people, and what you do, these people become your allies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In a moment when the dirt does come up, they will defend you with their own life. They'll defend you to the death simply because you gave out some turkeys or you provided warm meals. And but that's what they all do. Rockefeller used to give out these silver dimes, they said.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the days, everybody he met, he would give out these. And back then, a silver dime was,
Right.
what I'm saying? And so you didn't have anything bad to say about him. And then he took the world over.
Yeah. 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 Good point, man. It's it'll be interesting to see how far people go with targeting Mr. Beast for something that he technically personally didn't do. So, like we'll see. That's interesting.
It's
Definitely.
interesting because we become hypocritical because we sat and watched Diddy, not us.
Mm-hmm.
The entire industry sat and watched Diddy execute everything he did.
Yeah.
They watched R. Kelly do the same thing. They watched all of these individuals do these things, but it was something in it for them.
Yeah.
And so they looked the other way, and now Diddy is being vilified, and you have no choice but to look around like, yo, you was there the whole time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you didn't see none of this stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's the slippery slope with you in the hood, you see the drug dealer, but you don't report him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we all become complicit, maybe not on a grand scale of hurting other people, but a lot of us mind our business.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? Because we've been trained to do so. But being in the mix while crimes against humanity have been committed is a little bit different.
Absolutely.
in my humble opinion. And so a lot of people are gonna have blood on their hands with the Diddy situation. They swept the R. Kelly thing under the rug very smoothly, but a lot of people had blood on their hands with that.
It was it
You know?
was it was easier to do that with R. Kelly. I feel like because he was of no use to anybody anymore, and as far as like he wasn't a tastemaker in the industry anymore. Like he wasn't
Right.
a billionaire because I don't like I'm telling you, Diddy was not a billionaire, right?
Yeah, yeah, right. But
Telling
Diddy
you
ain't put
guys,
out a hit in 20
he
years.
was not a billionaire, right? So so it was like it was just easy to kind of just dump him with Diddy. It was to be at his be at his brunch, to be at some of his parties, to mean like you meant like you were somebody. But now, again, like after him is Jay. You know what I mean? Like after that.
Yeah, yeah. But Jay and Beyonce have been laying very quiet.
But
Uh,
what look at what Jay's been doing. He's been helping other rappers with their taxes. He's been helping people get out of jail. He's been he's been doing all these humanitarian things, right?
he's been pandering.
He's been pandering. So if something does come out, now you have more people. I think way more than Diddy people come out and go, nah, man, Hov is solid. Nah, man, that's big bro. Nah. And and funny enough, his company was Rockefeller, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Funny
His
enough.
company was Rockefeller. How about that? And
Yeah.
Diddy tried it, but Diddy tried it too late.
Late. Way too
And it
late.
looked suspicious
Yeah.
to give everyone back their publishing,
Yeah.
to get the key to the city, to be honored by BET,
Earn
and
your
then 2 months
leisure.
later,
Check.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Then 2 months later, the charges come down. Jay appears to be a little bit more calculated
Yeah.
and was planting these seeds, you know what I'm saying, in advance, so it wouldn't look so suspicious
Yeah.
when his name does come up. He's been giving out turkeys for a
Turkeys.
very
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
And like
Absolutely.
you said, the name being Rockefeller, so it all ties in to how sinister these things are. But these organizations are very huge. The ones who commit these crimes, but they cover it up with so much good deed
You're
that
right.
it confuses the people.
So real quick, I want the Kiefer D case is happening. Like he was in court today, so just pay attention to that.
Oh yes, they said Diddy's name came up 77 times.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of times for your
Mm-hmm.
name to come up to not being involved. Yo, Diddy has a lot on his plate, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because listen, when there's smoke, there's fire. When they connect the Tupac murder, they also gonna connect the Biggie murder,
Yeah.
and it just goes on and on. He would be better, and I know this sounds crazy, to just cop out to, one of them charges, them lesser charges, because if the longer he stayed with his chest poked out, the case that they are able to build is going to be monumental.
So pay
So
attention with
keep your
that.
eyes on that. Yes, yes.
Real quick, I also wanted to talk about this story that I just thought was interesting. So, the Biden administration, what they did, they essentially made non-compete clauses that are usually in contracts, like null and void, starting this September. I think September 4th is the day. So a non-compete, if you work for a marketing agency, let's say, sometimes that employer will have a non-compete to where you couldn't leave them then go work for another marketing agency because you might be sharing secrets and stuff like that might things might get muddy competition wise, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Now, why that's messed up is because if I go to school for marketing, this is my job, if I have experience in this, I get hired for your company, something happens where you fire me or I have to leave for whatever reason, I can't use my expertise and skills. So there are people who are not able to use their degree for for employment and things like that. So starting in September, those are null and void, so people can kind of get up and move, however they see fit. So I saw a lot of people cheering about that, and I said, okay, that's dope. then I thought again about just the changing landscape in the workforce itself,
Uh-huh.
right? So a lot of these companies, if you are able to, if you feel like you're able to, have these non-compete clauses, then a lot of those jobs like tech in the tech marketing and stuff like that, they'll probably come down harder. These employers will probably come down harder on the employees by like not hiring. Like if I could figure out a way to hire overseas for way cheaper than to risk you to go into my competition or to just deal with you, or if I can get AI to do something to kind of cut your job out completely, what does that do? It gives me the same feeling of when the government raises uh, uh,
Wage.
minimum
Wage.
wage, and then the companies go, well, I can't afford to pay you, so we just not gonna hire now. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely, absolutely.
And we're gonna hire
And
robots and stuff. So it's a little
it
different.
is, you're reading the tea leaves correctly. And so with the advent of AI overseas, and this really applies, I think, more in the tech world
Hmm.
and fashion, where the creative mind of an individual is what you're paying for.
Right.
It's not going to really work too much with people who just sit behind a desk and you just
Right.
robotically doing a job.
Right.
But remember, your intellectual property is the only thing that separates you from anybody else. And companies will bring you in to pick your brain, you know what I mean? And
Right.
then try to make it where you can't leave because you are a major asset to what it is that they do. And so they think they're doing you a favor when in reality you're doing them a favor. And so with the AI, like you said, and so many overseas companies now getting into the game, it will change the landscape. But that's another reason you're going to have to hold on to your intellectual property as much as possible,
Yes.
and which makes you unique at what it is that you do,
Right.
and maybe become more consultant than you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yep.
So interesting, interesting.
So that is it, guys. This is for this episode of the Popcast. We're your host. I'm Malcolm. This is the artist formerly known as the Black Dot. Like, share, subscribe. Tell us what you think in the comments below about MrBeast, about Diddy, about this non-compete stuff that's going on as well. Like I said, tell a friend and tell a friend about our show. And we're trying to get to MrBeast status. We're trying to get 300 million subs.
Yeah, we got a little ways to go,
We
but we
got low
work.
ways to go. But we'll see you guys later. All right. Peace.
Peace.